Hi, I'm Chuck and welcome to Moto Trails and Trials. Today we're going to be looking at the tools that I carry with me on the trail. I keep them right here in my Giant Loop Possibles pouch, so I'll take this off the bike and we'll get started here in a few minutes. Alright, so now we have the tool pouch off the bike and we're going to go ahead and open it up. You can see it's a Giant Loop Possibles pouch. I think it's maybe 3.5 liters. Some parts of it are faring better than others, but it's been a pretty good tool bag. It's a roll top tool bag. We'll go ahead and undo the straps here on the sides, and unroll the top and start taking the contents out. So the first thing that I have in here is an old Pockets, Nitei's Pockets belt carrier, and in that belt carrier I have a Leatherman, or not really a Leatherman, I think it's actually a Gerber multi-tool. So you can see it's got pliers, it's got knife, it's got a bunch of other small tools on there. I have a Magnite light with a LED bulb in it, and that's about it that's in here. Let's see what we have in the pouch next. Actually, we'll just try to pull all this stuff out at one time. Let's see if we got everything here. Yep, we got everything. All right. So inside the pouch we have 2 other pouches and a few other odds and ends and items here. So hold on a second here, let me get that out. And there's actually one other one that I want to bring in here, which are recent additions to my toolkit. They'll go in here as well. They are DRC combination wrenches and spoons. One is a 19 millimeter wrench, which fits the axle nuts on the front and one of the bolts on the rear axle. And the other one is a 22, which fits the rear axle nut for TW200. So they are also tire spoons as well. So anytime I can find a tool that can do 2 different jobs, that's awesome. I carry a pair of leather gloves just in case I need to grab a hold of anything hot, like an exhaust or whatever, or work around an exhaust that's hot. I have a Mega Pro screwdriver. This is an awesome screwdriver. This screwdriver has, I think, 13 or 15 bits here. So I have everything from Torx to Phillips to Robertson to the standard common. And what I really like about it is you can take the bits out of the end so that your screwdriver doesn't poke a hole in the end of your bag. Next I have a Mora knife. That's just generally good to carry on the trails with you. And in this bag, I have a couple of things in here. One is a metric ratchet and socket set, as well as a few rags. I always carry rags as well, so I've got the rags here. And we'll go ahead and unpack this. I no longer have the standard toolkit on the TW200, mainly because I put an air horn on there, which I'll do another video for later. But I put an air horn and the compressor goes into space where the tools go. At any rate, you can see here, by judicious packing, I have a full toolkit in here, or a full toolkit. I have a full ratchet set in here that is a metric ratchet set. There we go, and I have the original wrench to remove the spark plug on the motorcycle that came from the original toolkit. I have what looks to be about a 5-inch extension, and the fabled 10 millimeter socket. And a ratchet, of course. Also have a 10 and an 8 millimeter wrench. These are out of the original toolkit. They're not great, but they're probably worth carrying. This is a 10 and a 12, also out of the original toolkit. Also out of the original toolkit is an 11 or a 17 and a 14 millimeter wrench, and I believe this will fit the 19 and the 22 as well, the same as the tire spoons do. So that's that, and I have all of that packed into a small Turkish Airlines bag that I got when I was traveling internationally. So. And in the other bag, let's see what we've got in here. On the other bag, wrapped up in here, again, more rags. I have duct tape that is holding this all together, so the duct tape is actually part of the kit, so I can take it off and duct tape stuff in. But inside here, if I can get it out, I'm going to take that out. I have a small multimeter. just in case I have any electrical problems, if I can remember how to get the darn thing open. There we go. I have a small multimeter which I can use on the trail to diagnose any electrical problems. And let's see what else. Here we go. This is my chain kit, or my chain repair kit. So in here I have, what do we have in here? Let's see. So this is a chain press for pressing the links back together. On here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 links. One of those links, chain links, to fit the chain that I currently have. One of them is actually a master link, so I can use that to repair a broken chain, and then use this to press the side plates of the chain together. And then inside this little piece here, which I use to keep it from rattling around, I should have, if I can get it open, let's see here, there we go. In here there should be another master link. Yeah, so there's a master link in here, another master link, and some chain lubrication, so that when I do a chain repair I can actually lubricate it properly. And the master link in this case includes O-rings because it's an O-ring chain. Okay, that takes care of that, and of course I keep that in a little hard case here, just so it doesn't beat everything else in the toolkit up. And let's see, what else do we have in here? Here we go. Zip ties. I have your standard plastic zip ties, maybe a dozen or so of these. And in this bundle of zip ties I have some special zip ties. These are stainless steel zip ties. They're rated for pretty, they have a pretty good weight rating on them, so you can tie fairly heavy things back onto your bike. Because they're stainless steel, if you have an exhaust piece that falls off or something like that, you don't need to worry about burning the zip ties up because they're stainless steel. You're not going to burn them up. What else? What else? What else? What else? Of course, more rags. So more rags, probably more rags than I need. I have a Motion Pro. I forgot to mention that the chain press is a small Motion Pro compact chain press. This is also a Motion Pro rivet remover, so that if I do need to do the repair on the side of the trail, that I can then use this to press the rivets out. And as well as I can remember, you don't need to grind the rivets off, the heads of the rivets off. This works just fine with flared rivets as well. And surprise, surprise, more rags. And inside this bundle of rags is a number of other tools that I have in here. So I have a pair of locking needle nose pliers. Very handy for grabbing hot stuff or hanging on to things that might be sharp or whatever. And then I have a small Stanley adjustable wrench. So you can see this actually goes fairly large for the size that it is. There we go. And on the handle of that is wrapped a bunch of electrical tape. So that is for any electrical repairs. And there we go. And we'll put that there. Then I have a pair of slip joint pliers, whatever you want to call them. Just a generic set of pliers, and I have a set of needle nose pliers. There's actually a couple of other things that I have, but they're in my bag, so if you'll forgive me for 2 seconds, I will get the other things out of the bag, and we'll come right back. All right, so I pulled the other items out. They were in either my backpack or they were in one of the saddlebags that I have on the bike. So first I have is a clutch and throttle cable repair kit. It's just in a little metal box. It is also closed up with a piece of fairly long piece of electrical tape. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. I'll replace the tape after I'm done with a new piece of tape, but we can open that up just so you can kind of get a little bit of a look at what the contents is. So there's a couple of different sizes of clutch cable and throttle cable in here. I think this is actually designed for bicycle, but it's there, and they have ends on them, and those ends are actually designed to work with a bunch of other sort of generic ends and sliders that you can slide onto them depending on your application. Here, I'll go ahead and pull those out. I don't know if you can see those, but you then slide those on and secure them to the cable and you fix whatever you need to fix, whether it's the clutch or the throttle or whatever. So it's kind of a generic kit. That actually works pretty well. I've used it once or twice on the Ural. Those are really good to have with you if you snap a cable or something like that. Very convenient, very small, packs up very compactly. So there's that. I also usually carry a little bit of electrical wire. I'm not sure what the gauge on this wire is. It's sufficient to carry a fair amount of current. But you can see I also secure it together with a piece of electrical tape. And on this I have 4 pieces of, I was going to call it shrink wrap, but anyway, I'm at a loss for what the word is right now, but heat shrink, that's what it is. So it has 4 pieces of heat shrink on there, so if I have to do something like bypass my kickstand switch, I have at least a little bit of wire that I can work with and a way to secure that wire together and do the repair. In my backpack I have one of the original Leathermans here. As far as I'm concerned, you can never have too many kind of good multi-tools or decent multi-tools and knives out on the trail. You never know when you need one, so I've got that. I carry a lighter, so I can actually take the heat wrap here or the shrink wrap, and I can actually shrink it onto the connections I'm trying to fix. And last but not least, these are bonus tools that I don't carry with me, but I have actually used on multiple occasions to bend things or unbend things when I fall and let's say for example bend a shifter or bend my brake lever to the point where it's not usable. Number 1, a rock. Where I ride at, you can find lots of rocks. I use a rock for whacking on things to, like I said, straighten it or unstraighten it or however it's supposed to be. The other one I have is a stick, a fairly substantial stick. I'll also use this for straightening stuff that I've bent in. And you can find these just about anywhere in the trails where I ride, so always useful tools on the trail. And I think that's about it. I mean, other than the philosophy behind the toolkit is, the toolkit really is basically designed for the bike that I use it on, right? And occasionally what I do for the just to make sure that I have the right components in here, I may have changed something. Maybe, you know, you add a new thing that requires a specialized tool or something else like that. What I will do occasionally is I will go through and I will utilize the tools that I have in here to do something like, for example, change a tire if it's time for a tire change, or tighten up some bolts if it's time for me to do some regular maintenance, or use them for the oil change. Those kind of things I do all the time. There's a few things that I think are probably missing here. One would be probably a tube if I wanted to carry a tube, but I usually have something like that in the car or in the truck if I do. A tube repair kit, like a patching kit, a way to air that tube up. And there's probably 1 or 2 other things that I'm not sort of thinking of at the moment. But yeah, so there's a few things that are missing here that I can either leave in the truck or that I could potentially carry with me. I'd need to get a larger bag, or I'd need to put it in one of the saddlebags or my backpack. But that's really basically about it. It's kind of a customized kit specific for the bike that I'm riding at the time. So my Ural has its own toolkit. This has its own toolkit. And like I said, the tools that are in it are really specific for the application of the bike and for the sort of mechanics of the bike. So it'll have the wrenches and the sizes that are necessary to do either roadside or trailside repairs. And I think that's about it. If you have any other sort of, if I'm missing something, I would really appreciate that you would put it in the comments of the video here so that I can kind of look at it and say, yeah, maybe I am missing something and I should go and, you know, invest some money in getting whatever that item happens to be. It also maybe be helpful for other people too to know what you carry in your toolkit. And I think that's about it. Let's see. Yeah. I think that's it. I'll leave links in the description for all of the items that we see here. I'll also put in a nice slow shot here that you can pause the video. And like I said, there'll be links to a lot of this stuff in the description. I'm not getting any money off of this. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I just want to be able to share what I have come up with and what I have found useful out on the trail. So, yeah, I think that's about it. The last thing I wanted to cover was I would really appreciate it if you would if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If and I would really appreciate it if you might consider subscribing to the channel. Other than that, I think that's about it. Ride hard, ride safe, and have a great time. Bye-bye.